Politically Speaking, with Dick Morris. Not the usual take, but a podcast from a political insider who's really at heart an outsider.
It's coming. No leader, no matter how autocratic and dictatorial, can make as many mistakes as Xi has made in China and live to tell about it. He neglected selling the products and the services his people produce to his own people, opting to sell them to the United States instead. In fact, 21% of China's exports now go to America, and only a third of Chinese consumption is by Chinese people. He picked a trade war with the United States, ignoring China's enormous vulnerability. The fact is that Washington only sells less than $200 billion to China, while we buy $500 billion from them. Losing the American market is a catastrophe for China. It's only an inconvenience for the United States, and people in glass houses should not throw stones. He bet that the U.S. would tolerate an enormous trade deficit with China indefinitely, and he never counted on Donald Trump. He turned back the clock on all of the reforms of Deng Xiaoping that were capitalists that made China work economically, instead brought back statist and Maoist solutions that have never worked and don't work now. China had no economic growth this last quarter and probably will have none this coming quarter. He's done nothing to counter the horrible fall in population in China, triggered by the legacy of the one-child policy. China is losing people hand over fist, and probably by 2100 will actually be smaller in population than the United States. In the meantime, his population is aging, and China is becoming a nursing home. Denied the legitimacy of Marxism and Marxist doctrine, Xi depends on prosperity and materialism to advance and for regime stability, and he can't offer either of them right now. And his foreign policy is a throwback to the days of Western colonialism, where Britain, France, Germany, and Portugal got colonies in Africa and would give money to dictators who would pocket it in their Swiss bank accounts. And then when they couldn't repay the money, the colonial powers would move in and take over the country. That's just what China is doing now for food, rare earth minerals, and other raw materials. Lending money to dictators, knowing that eventually they will end up owning the natural resources of the country. Now, dictators, unlike Puff's magic dragon, do not live forever. And while the Chinese communist system may or may not fall, Xi Jinping's personal days in power are clearly numbered.
Here is a word from our loyal and valued sponsor, Patriot Gold.
Today's All Access sponsored by the Patriot Gold Group. Bernie Madoff was sentenced to life in jail for a Ponzi scheme where he was trying to make 10% a year. But gold has averaged 25% a year over the past 20 years with no management fee. That's right, gold has returned over 500% over 20 years. Gold is just getting noticed as the safest asset to own. Bernie should have tried it. Imagine what the next 20 years will bring to gold owners. So call the Patriot Gold Group. The Patriot Gold Group offers no fee for life IRAs to viewers of these videos. The IRA minimums are $25,000 and $100,000 for the no fee for life IRA. So call the Patriot Gold Group and ask for the no fee for life IRA. The likelihood is that there'll be a coup, just like there was in 1964 in Russia, where the boisterous and mercurial Khrushchev was ousted and replaced by the stolid, dependable Leonid Brezhnev. But without the fundamental economic reforms, it's not going to work. And the new regime will fall victim to the economy, just like the old one has. The best chance that Xi has is to start a war, which is traditionally the last refuge of dictators. And the obvious answer would be for him to invade Taiwan. To deter him, President Trump needs to make clear that any invasion of Taiwan would lead to a total embargo by the United States on all trade with China, which is an existential weapon against China. Ultimately, Xi Jinping bluffed Donald Trump, and you can't bluff him. And now his back is to the wall, the Great Wall of China. Thanks for watching.